Well, yesterday was the Superman world premiere and the reactions came out yesterday, but today the reviews came in. So people were allowed to say a lot more than just their initial social media reactions. But the reactions were pretty insane. And now after hearing these reviews, I've noticed that there's a few key points that a lot of people mention that are all really good. These reviews talk a lot about how much heart that this movie has, also the humor as well. And I've seen many people state that if you like James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy films, then you should love Superman. Now, not to say that it's exactly like the Guardians of the Galaxy films, because it's not. In fact, another thing that people are saying is that this film is very unique. It stands out as a different type of superhero movie. And the fact that they don't try to mimic another movie or be like something else, but it's truly its own new, fresh movie. And a lot of people said that James Gunn has honored Christopher Reeves' legacy. And I've had a lot of people tell me personally that this is their Superman now. This is their definitive Superman. And I am somebody who loves Henry Cavill. I love Henry Cavill as Superman, and I love him as a person. He's fantastic. I've met him. He's awesome. But people are saying that David Corenswet's Superman is completely different, and not in a good or bad way. Not as in, oh, he's different and he's better, but it's just a different take on the character, which I enjoy. I like that he's not trying to be like the previous Superman, because you won't be. Henry Cavill's Superman is one of a kind, and it sounds like David Corenswet's Superman is one of a kind as well. They're different, which I love. So let's dive into what people are saying about Superman. So as of right now, as I am recording this video, currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 91% rating on the tomato meter with 55 reviews. So that's pretty dang good. Actually, I just refreshed and now it's sitting at 89% out of 72 reviews. So still really great. Now I'll start off with my very close friends over at The Real Rejects, Greg Alba and John. They both loved this movie. And I spoke to Greg and he said that this was his favorite Superman movie and that David Corenswet is his favorite Superman. And that is a constant when it comes to this movie, from reviewers like 3C Films, Chris, Jeremy Johns, just a bunch of people, and we'll go over them, have said that David Corenswet is Superman. And he does an amazing job of bringing humanity to Superman. And a word that a lot of people have used is hope. This is a hopeful Superman. And Greg and John and others from The Real Rejects have said that they cried. It was a pretty emotional movie. However, it does really have that good James Gunn humor. And according to who you ask, that worked or it didn't. For example, Jeremy Johns said that the humor kind of did offset some really emotional moments. And he basically called it classic James Gunn. There were some emotional moments that he would have liked to have just sat for a little while, but they were interrupted by comedy. He did say that there were moments where he did let it sit, and those moments weren't interrupted and they worked very well. But on the other hand, another friend to the channel, Christian Harloff, said that he was indeed worried that there would be too much humor and that it was going to kind of be a little overbearing. However, he said that he didn't feel that way when he watched the movie. He said that he really enjoyed it and that, once again, it felt like a comic book come to life. And I actually have been kind of noticing with people who have seen the movie and who are reviewing it, the people in kind of the superhero pop culture space, they are the ones who are really praising this movie. But if you take a look at the other movie critics who aren't necessarily superhero fans, but just movie fans in general, they're the ones who are saying that it didn't really work for them. And it very well could be that it was just too comic booky for them. So Jeremy Johns gave one of the lower reviews, but even so, he still praised David Corenswet as Superman and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. He said they both did great jobs. He did say that there's not really a lot of Clark Kent in the movie, but there's more Superman than there is Clark. But overall, Jeremy said that it wasn't a great movie to him. Meanwhile, New Rockstars gave it a 9.2 out of 10 and compared it to Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, and said that it's the comic book movie they've been waiting decades to see. Meanwhile, Grace Randolph said that this is the best Superman movie to date, so she is right there with The Real Rejects and New Rockstars. There is something she said that a lot of other people have said as well. She said that it's not perfect, but it's pretty dang close and made her a believer in James Gunn's DC. So this is actually something that I have heard a lot about so far. A lot of people, even people who are saying that they absolutely love the movie and it's their favorite Superman movie so far, are saying that it's not a perfect movie. In fact, most of the reviews say that there is a lot going on in this movie. And Chris from 3C Films actually said that he would argue that this is possibly the messiest script by James Gunn. And from what it sounds like, from what everybody is kind of saying, it is a little bloated because there is so much that they are doing. Because this is very different than what Marvel did before. They are introducing a whole cinematic universe in one movie right away. But overall, most of what we are hearing is really good. Probably 8 out of 10, if not 9 out of 10 reviews are good compared to 1 being bad for every 10. One thing that we've heard about the CGI is kind of what we've heard about the movie. It's really good, but it's not perfect at all times. Jeremy Jahns said that sometimes it feels insanely real and it's done very well, but sometimes it feels like it's not very real and you just feel like it's CGI. Meanwhile, Charlie at Emergency Awesome said that it's very sci-fi-ish and very outlandish, and the fact that there are pocket dimensions in the movie and there are big kaiju battles. And he did say that sometimes it is a little bit silly, but that's kind of James Gunn's humor. So again, if you like that, you'll probably really love this movie. And overall, the biggest thing I think is that he stated that he feels like the new DCU is going to be totally fine, which is actually one of the lower reviews that we've heard, because most people have said that they feel like the new DCU is getting off to a fantastic start and that the future for it is going to be amazing if it stays on par with Superman. And that's primarily what we have heard. Although it is not necessarily a perfect movie, it is now many people's favorite Superman movie, and they have a lot of faith and excitement moving forward with James Gunn's new DCU. Now again, this movie does not have all great reviews. If you go through the Rotten Tomato reviews, you can see a mix of different ratings. You can scroll through and see that most are really good, but every now and then there's a bad one. Like this one that says, it's all fine in the moment, but there was no real reason to try this story again, at least not with this screenplay. Another one says, you don't have to convince me that Superman is great, but you do have to show me why in 2025 I should be invested in this version. We get tons of world building and looking to the future at the expense of right now. So again, it just all really depends on how you view the movie and how you view this new version of Superman, because you get people like The Real Rejects and New Rockstars who say that this is the best Superman that we've had. And that's plenty of enough reason to invest in this Superman and the new DCU. But at the same time, you get comments from people who don't see it that way. But it sounds like overall, for the comic book fans, this movie really is something great. And I, for one, am super excited to see this movie. But go ahead, let me know after you've heard all these reviews and different points about different topics of the movie, how are you feeling about it right now? Are you even more excited, or are you going in with a little caution? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay up to date on all things with the new DCU. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.